Hello, Internet friend. Today on Value Side, are the shelves stocked? How tariffs disrupt the retail business model. I'm David Ravel. Well, although it seems like there are many things that America does not quite get right, too much crime, too many drugs, to name just a couple, there's one thing that we do better than just about anyone else: shop. We are the world champions in consumption, mainly due to an outstanding group of retailers that serve our every need. Names like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot provide us with the goods and products that are the envy of the world. But it's not just their storefronts that are so impressive. It's the vast array of logistical support that allows us to place each of those products at our fingertips, constantly available and easily within our reach. It's no accident, then, that this incredibly intricate, marvelously coordinated retail system evolved. It took years of trial and error, and in the brutally efficient way of capitalism, not a few failures, to finally achieve today's state-of-the-art retail system. At the heart of it all is sourcing, the logistical system that brings the highest quality products from the lowest cost producers globally to stock these shelves. In the most recent cited numbers, Walmart was estimated to obtain 60 to 80% of all of its products from China. Although that number is likely declining currently, it's safe to say that most Walmart goods still come from the Middle Kingdom. And it's not an inconsequential number. According to Walmart's latest financial statement, it held $56 billion in inventory waiting to be sold. What's more, that inventory, those products and goods, will only sit on the shelves for about 6 weeks, after which you and I, the Walmart shoppers, will grab them. Although the process is constant, you likely see the Walmart staff constantly restocking and replacing products. Economists view this process as an inventory replacement every month and a half, 8 times a year. Walmart must replace and restock its $56 million inventory. Imagine how demanding Walmart's constant inventory replacement is. The Walmart wholesale buyers must constantly circle the globe seeking to replace the inventory that Americans purchase daily from its over 10,000 locations. Now, visualize those same Walmart wholesale buyers must purchase against the background of an uncertain presidential tariff policy. At one point, President Trump indicated that he would slap a 145% tariff on all Chinese goods entering the country, more than doubling Walmart's cost of goods. Fortunately, the president has recently reduced the Chinese tariff to a mere 34%. For Washington, amending Executive Order 14257, inserting 34% instead of the 145%. A simple exercise, but it's an incredible headache for Walmart logistics and profitability. Now, there are a couple of strategies that Walmart could use to mitigate the impact of these tariffs. They could, for instance, ship goods to a duty-free zone. This would allow them to avoid tariffs until they were shipped to their final destination. But this only works when Walmart can anticipate what the future tariffs will be. Currently, the constantly changing tariff level makes any anticipation impossible. However, there's more to this inventory issue than just logistics. Inventories are the very heart of these massive retailers' financial structure. For example, we'll use Home Depot. All through 2024, Home Depot was my example of an overextended retailer that could find itself in trouble should the economy go south. However, I should also add that Home Depot is an extremely well-managed company, and what was the case back in 2024 is no longer applicable to Home Depot today. In 2024, Home Depot had shareholder equity of slightly over $1 billion, while the company carried nearly $21 billion in inventory. And here's the issue. If the price of that inventory should drop by roughly 5%, The bank loans used to secure that inventory, the inventory loans, would no longer be secure. The bank could call the loans. You get the picture. $22 billion in loans secured by $21 billion in inventory and $1 billion in shareholder equity. But if the inventory is now worth less, say $20 billion, then the shareholder equity is wiped out, and the inventory loan no longer has adequate collateral. Of course, this is an overly simplification. There would be much more involved. Lawyers, investment bankers, and courts would all chime in. But this worst-case scenario can apply when inventory price drops precipitously with an additional cost, like tariffs. A final note, Home Depot has added another $5.6 billion in shareholder equity so far, and from this new financial perspective, it's a much different company than it was back in 2024. But you see the issue. For our major retailers, inventory represents a significant portion of their balance sheet. Even for massive Walmart, inventory now at $56 billion is more than half of its shareholder equity, which is $97 billion. So when the president jiggles the tariff numbers, he's not only adjusting the income price level of the goods and services that we purchase, but he's also substantially adjusting the capital level of some of the most important corporations in the country. Although we've used Walmart and Home Depot as examples, realize that many retail companies are not nearly as financially strong or resilient as these two. The retail sector should continue to feel the pain as the tariffs continue to rise. Now let's look at a timeline. How is it and when will we know just what's happening in the retail market? Perhaps the most frustrating aspect of these tariff wars will be the time it takes to discover the hard data that many of us are looking for. While Wall Street may react instantaneously to every utterance of the president, the reality is that we're only guessing, projecting out what they believe will happen with little or no real data in-house. Here's my best approximation of the final data disclosure for tariff impact. First, we are currently on a 90-day suspension. However, the administration did not suspend all tariffs, only those proposed on April 2nd, Liberation Day. According to the Yale Budget Lab, the administration has already raised the average U.S. tariff level from roughly 2% to approximately 22.5%. We expect to see some impact from tariffs beginning with this quarter's earnings reports. However, we will not see the complete tariff impact until the 90-day pause is completed, and that's sometime in mid-August. The Liberation Day tariffs will begin to take hold. So add another month or so to those effects, and that makes it mid-September when we'll see results. Now, the two most definitive reports on tariffs will be the Census Bureau's September retail sales report to be published on November 14th, and then Walmart's fiscal Q3 2026 earnings report, and that will be published on November 20th, 2025. Both reports will be broadcast before the markets open on that day. Stay tuned. There's an awful lot ahead of us. And that's today's Value Side. For all of our references and podcasts, visit valueside.com. I'm David Ravel.